response, they are becoming conservative in record numbers. Ricky Schlott just wrote in the New York Post, teens go against the grain, and the most rebellious thing a young person coming up in the ultra-progressive era, when left-wing politicians are shoved down their throats by their schools, marketing campaigns, and celebrities, can do is swing to the right. Senior editor for Reason, Robby Soave, joins us, also with our partners at The Hill. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. You think this is a real move by young men to be actually conservative, or is it just sort of, as Ricky points out, rebel against whatever they're being told?
I mean, I do think it's both. They are rebelling against a kind of ideology on the left that holds them responsible for all the world's failings, that doesn't offer them anything. It offers women something. It offers people of all kinds of minority backgrounds something, saying we're going to improve society. You've been disadvantaged in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing incorrect about that, but it's not offering anything to a lot of young men whose...
So if you're a young white guy...
Yeah, what does it have for you?
In high school or college, you are sort of forced to atone and apologize. And as you point out, you're not being promised anything. Conservatives say, hey, look, here you go. Political identities of 12th grade boys, 23% identify as conservative. That's more than, what, almost double those who identify as liberal. And what's interesting is among girls, it's sort of the opposite.
Yeah, and you can't downplay the Jordan Peterson effect here, frankly. The right has figures that are offering something to young men, saying, here's how you can improve your life and be a person of worth in a world that has ideologies that no longer value you. And that means something to them. And like you said, they're cultural institutions, wrestling, sports, etc. Some of them have taken on an increasingly conservative cultural bent that is drawing them to the ideology. It's a real pronounced thing. And, you know, being bullied or harassed or called out in class for disagreeing with your teachers about politics or about COVID. Think of all the COVID policies that I think are associated with liberals and Democrats and the left that resulted in school closures and mandates, sports teams getting, canceled for years. All that stuff being on hold has had an effect.
All right, so here is some of the TikTok videos that now have permeated, and obviously that the left isn't very happy with.
During 2020, when, America got really, politically intense, and my teacher, she was very politically active, and she wanted us to, speak our voices, and they found I was conservative, and they said, okay, you're completely going against what we believe, the whole school is very liberal, and I guess they just kind of pushed me away.
So how much of this newfound conservatism among young men is actual traditional conservative values, Ronald Reagan, Shining City on the Hill, small government, on and on, versus an own the libs populism?
I think it's more the latter. The views you described have kind of fallen out of fashion on the right more broadly. Now we're not even just talking about kids. Donald Trump represented a break from some of those policies, a very different foreign policy from what came before him, and at least, changing on trade. I don't think if you ask these kids, how do your trade policies differ from traditional republicanism, they're going to have much of an answer.
What's your feeling about tariffs for China? Yeah, that's not really.
That's not going to happen.
So this is a cultural social conservatism of anti-what?
Of anti-political correctness is what we used to call it. Now we use the word woke because it's one syllable and easier to say. It's a rebellion against the idea that you shouldn't be able to speak your mind. It's calling out the hypocrisy of people, many of them on the left or in liberal progressive circles, who said, we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe and speak up and make your voice heard. Not you, not if you have to say that. They're sick of it, and they're reacting to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. People do not like being called racist and told you can't say what you want.
Especially for being rebellious teenagers the way everyone was. It was never branded a social malady. It was just part of growing up.
Yeah. Who knew that wearing a MAGA hat would be like smoking dope?
Yeah.
In the 60s. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Good to see you, my friend.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.